You are listening to the Horse Radio Network, part of the Equine Network family.
What a beautiful day for horses in the morning.
You are listening to the number one horse podcast in the world. Here is your entertaining look at the horse world and the people in it.
Well, I am Glenn the Geek from Ocala, Florida.
And I am Allison Rehnborg in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, and you're listening to the monthly Equine Affaire episode of Horses in the Morning on the Horse Radio Network for August 21st. This episode is brought to you by Equine Affaire. Good morning, Horse World.
It's the third Thursday of the month. That means it's time for the Equine Affaire episode, North America's premier equine expo and equestrian gathering.
Well, Allison, it's good to be back with another Equine Affaire episode here in the heat of summer.
It's definitely the heat of summer in Tennessee. And I also can't believe it's August and school is already back in session. And what is happening?
Yeah, I went to school in Pennsylvania where school didn't start till after Labor Day. So it's weird to have all these schools starting this early.
Yeah, when I was growing up, I feel like, I was homeschooled from fourth grade on, but before that, in elementary school, I felt like it started after Labor Day. I think they've been creeping it up, and then they get out later, and it's let kids have summer.
Well, part of the reason our school didn't start till then is there was no air conditioning in the school. So we didn't have air conditioning at all in the school, and it was still pretty warm, even in Pennsylvania in September. So I
would buy that, yeah. Yeah, you got to have air conditioning. At least down south, you definitely need air conditioning.
Oh, yeah, you die.
Even in September, though, really fall does not start here until it doesn't start getting cooler until November.
Yeah, us too. Our summer's over in November.
Yep. Yeah. Yep. That sounds right. But yeah, it's August, and I am just I don't know where the time is going. How is it late August?
I know.
But it is.
Well, speaking of which, what's coming up on today's show?
Yeah, we have a great show. Obviously, we're getting closer and closer to November, so the excitement is ramping up for Equine Affaire in Massachusetts. Yay! And so today we're talking about Fantasia. We're going to have Dr. Grant Myhre of Myhre Equine Clinic, and he's going to come chat with us about his MRI machine. Myhre Equine is the sponsor of Fantasia, which is going to be really shaping up to be a great show. You guys are going to be excited for that. And then we're going to get to talk to Vitor Silva, who is an international dressage master. He has a farm in Massachusetts and Florida, and he is going to perform in Fantasia. He'll be our dressage performer. He's also going to do some clinics and present Lusitanos. So he's got a full docket for Massachusetts, and we're going to talk about all that.
All right, very good. And what else is going on in the preparation for November where it will be cooler in Massachusetts than it is here right now?
It'll be so much cooler. That's my favorite part. I think I wax about Massachusetts all the time because I love it there, but I love going up where it's cold for once. Yeah, so because it's getting closer, we've also got deadlines coming up. So I wanted to remind everybody, if you want to apply to Ride with a Pro or to compete in the Versatile Horse and Rider competition or in the Breed Bonanza, all those deadlines are September the 5th. So if you're listening and you're like, oh yeah, I want to take my horse and ride or compete, start getting on those applications. And the materials are all available on equineaffaire.com, and we can put them in the show notes too. And one of the Ride with a Pro clinicians is Vitor Silva. So if you listen to today's episode and you're like, I want to learn from Vitor, you better apply because I think he's going to be really popular.
Is there a cost for riding with a clinician?
Yes. I think it's a standard flat clinic fee, but it includes admission to the event for the day of your clinic, 24 hours of stabling, a T-shirt. I think it's $110.
Well, that's cheap for a clinic with a master,
Yes. Yeah. Don't quote me on that, but I think it's $110. And that covers, like I said, your admission, 24 hours of stabling, a T-shirt, and of course your clinic. So it's a pretty good deal to get to ride with these people who, let's face it, you don't always get this opportunity. So I love it. And then, the My Equine Affaire Moment Contest. That entries closed for that on August 30th.
Have you been getting entries?
Yes,
okay.
We have.
Explain it again for people who hadn't heard it.
Yeah. So the My Equine Affair Moment Contest, the prize for this, I'll lead with the prize. You get a pair of 4-day tickets to Equine Affair. You get tickets to Fantasia, and you get a 4-night hotel stay at the Holiday Inn Express Springfield. So that's our grand prize for this contest. And then the way that you enter is you think of a way in which Equine Affair has impacted your life for the better. And then you share your story. And you can do it any way you want. Do you want to send in a video of yourself telling it? You can write an essay. You can send in pictures and caption them. You can send in a voicemail, whatever you want to do. So just tell your story in the most compelling way possible. And we're hoping Glenn will maybe get to judge it too. So,
it was interesting too. You talked last month, you gave an example of somebody who got engaged during Fantasia. Mm-hmm. And it was interesting because about a couple of days after that show went out, she wrote to us. She's a listener. Yeah. And she heard the show and she heard herself talked about on the show. So we need to get her on before November.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
I think it was her mom who wrote about it in the group. And I said, yes, please email us. And I don't think she has yet. So
we need to get her on. Yeah, we need to get her on. That'd be fun. To have her on. She can help judge. She should help me judge because she would win this year if she was qualified, right? I mean, that'd be a winner right there.
But, I think so.
Yeah, that was so fun to get that. That was cool.
That was. Yeah, I was really excited. So if you want to be on the show, we're talking about you again. Just write in and tell us, right. And then we'll get you on.
Come on, Mom. Get her to message me at Glenn at horseradionetwork.com.
Yeah.
And so it's a moment that something that at Equine Affair impacted your life for the better, and you're going to share the story. If you have a picture, that's even better.
Mm-hmm. Or
that could have been riding in one of those clinics, right? Yeah.
Riding in a clinic. Maybe you competed in the VHRC. Maybe you adopted a horse, or you bought a horse, or you sold a horse, or you made a new friend, or you met your future husband or spouse. Something like that. Something that, because we know it's a huge event and people plan vacations around it. They plan taking time off work around it. It's, part of our lives for 30 plus years. So big moments happen there. So we want to hear about those moments. And those entries are due by the end of this month. So you have
a couple days left, actually. At this point. So, and then you're doing a raffle?
Yes, we are doing the free online raffle again this year. It's one of my babies. I work on this for both events, and I'm super excited for this year. So you can enter online anytime until the event is over. You just go on and fill out a little survey and give us your opinion. We know horse people have opinions about Equine Affair, and then you're entered for any number of great prizes. This year we've got a fire horse rescue kit, which I'm very excited about. We have 2 beautiful mirrors from October Design, feed from Triple Crown, who couldn't use a little help with their feed bill, honestly, and a whole lot more. So make sure you go enter. You don't have to come to Equine Affair to enter the raffle either. So keep that in mind. I would prefer that you did, but it's free to enter for anybody. So make sure you get in there and maybe get you a great prize.
From early morning feedings to late night barn checks, horse care follows a rhythm, and Chewy helps you keep in step. Whether it's grooming for that shine, gear to protect every ride, or supplements that power their stride, Chewy delivers what you need when you need it. Your horse counts on you, and you can count on Chewy. Start your order today at chewy.com/equine. That's chewy.com/equine.
Our first guest today is Dr. Grant Myhre of Myhre Equine Clinic in Rochester, New Hampshire. Dr. Myhre is an accomplished equine veterinarian, and you guys are going to love hearing from him. He's incredible. He's pioneered innovations in northern New England from arthroscopy, I said it right, to digital radiology. His practice covers everything, and I do mean everything, from diagnostics to nuclear medicine, radiopharmaceutical cancer treatments, and MRIs. In fact, his MRI machine is the only one in the Northeast that can perform a scan on a stifle. So we're going to talk about that with Dr. Myhre. Well, hi, Dr. Myhre. Welcome to the podcast.
Welcome for having me.
Yes, we're so glad you're here. So where are you calling from today?
I'm calling from the clinic in my office in Rochester, New Hampshire, where we have the Equine Referral Hospital, which we take in referrals from all over New England. And we've been here since 1969. I didn't get here until 1968 or 78 rather, and I have built it into a referral hospital from a racetrack practice.
Oh, that's cool. So a racetrack. So you had a racetrack practice up in New Hampshire? Am I just?
Well,
I don't think of that as a big racing time.
It was back then. You know, a lot of standardbreds and still had tracks up here, but a lot of those have closed down, and now we do more sport horses and backyard horses. Most of what we do is surgery, emergency, and scheduled surgeries. We do a lot of medicine workups. We have an internal specialist. We also do a lot of imaging too. We have some really exciting new novel imaging devices that are cutting edge, such as our new MRI that we've had for now 4 years. So,
yeah, tell us about your MRI, because you and I chatted a little bit yesterday, and I think you told me it's actually a human MRI machine, it's based on that, but it can do all different kinds of angles and recumbent or standing. Kind of tell us how that works.
It is. It's a very unique, and we kind of pioneered a lot of it, and moving it over from the human field to equine and even small animal too. But it's an Esiote from Italy, and that is a really good manufacturer. They manufacture primarily human machines, and this was made so that you could do either recumbent or standing imaging in people, which is very unique because there are differences in the anatomy when you do that, especially when you're looking at subtle changes in the like in the back and the spinal column or any musculoskeletal issues or neurologic issues. So now we added a standing format to it, so we can do standing. Standing is good for horses that have a medical problem that they can't be anesthetized or shouldn't be anesthetized. That's the best, because MRI is so precise. It allows us to see inside the hoof or inside the stifle, things that we can't normally see, and it does all these different slices at different angles. We'll get 300, 400, 500 different slices, and then we put them all back together again, and it's fantastic to be able to see what's inside of these structures.
That is the coolest thing. I think I've seen an MRI machine for horses one time, and it was so neat to just like figure out how it worked and what all you could see inside the leg and inside those structures that you wouldn't even guess were there. And so your machine also can do stifle, and that's unusual, right?
It is. It's one of the few machines that can do it routinely, and it's not easy to do, but we get really good images of stifles that you can ultrasound a stifle, you can X-ray a stifle, but they're not as multidimensional as the MRI is. And so it really, I always dreamed about being able to look inside the hoof and see the collateral ligament, the navicular bursa, the ligaments that support it. And now can we not only look at those structures, but then we grade them as to how severe they are and where they are. And then we can offer what the corrective biomechanics of shoeing or what we can inject as a regenerative or treatment, so many different things. And we can also regulate as to what exercise the horse can do. Now, these things are still subjective. I mean, we have done about 500 MRIs, which is right up there in number. We'll do about 90 this year, and it allows us to get an expertise to be able to make those judgments. We don't have thousands of horses, but we have hundreds of them now, and it just keeps getting better and better as we can forecast what the owner can do.
What's the thing you see the most with the stifle that you couldn't without the MRI? Did that make any sense?
Oh, I mean, we can't see any of the structures like the menisci that we commonly see and operate on in people, the ligaments, medial collateral, MCL, the ACL, cruciate ligaments, and posterior ligaments. So there are several things that does allow us to see that soft tissue. We still rely on X-rays too. Bone is really important to be able to have, but that's where we start. And if we can see things there, usually it's a lot worse than when we can see it on the MRI.
You've been doing this a long time. Are we seeing injuries now that you didn't see a lot of 20 years ago?
Oh, we're seeing the definition of it. We're seeing more and more about less and less. And the old adage, sometimes maybe we see everything about nothing eventually, but that's not, as long as we're practical in our judgments as to what we're seeing and correlate that with the lameness and the clinical signs that the horse is showing us, it makes it tremendous, to be able to do that. And then we get into, in the lameness evaluations, we've got computer monitoring to be able to say, where the horse is lame or where it's not, and a lot of other aids, ultrasound, things like that. And nuclear medicine, that's also a good one when we get way up high to be able to actually see where there's increased bone activity. But it's still, the physical exam is still very important. And, that's my expertise in having, 47 years of experience. My son is the other surgeon here, a principal surgeon. We have 4, but he's got a degree in computer science. So he knows all about the nuances that maybe I'm a little bit antiquated with, but a combination of the two of us really provides, I think, a dynamic service to the horse owners in the New England area.
Well, that leads me to my next question is, and I haven't asked a vet about this yet, and this is probably your son's territory, but how has AI and the development of AI, is that going to help you in your practice in the long run?
Oh, it tremendously. I mean, the computer system that we have, that we can put accelerometers on the horse and be able to see stride length and height, and we get a computer printout that he's really good at reading. But it's amazing how well I correlate with my experience with that. But so it augments it. It helps out tremendously. And it also, the computer system will help us in rechecks, because sometimes our minds don't remember that far back, but the computer does, and it can remember how bad it was the last time we saw the horse and how much it's improved or not improved. So it's a benefit, it's a marriage of both of those examinations that I think is tremendous advantage that we have over a lot of other places.
It's funny because people, are scared about AI, and there's all this talk about how it's going to take over the world and everything. I think where AI really is going to benefit all of us is in the medical field, whether it's animals or people, right? Because it can just do the calculations in 1,000,000 times faster than we can as humans. Now, still going to need the human like you to look at it and interpret it and make sure it's correct. But boy, what an assistant to have.
Yeah, no, I think it's tremendous, and it'll just get better and better and better as time goes on, and our knowledge. Like you said, it'll never replace a person, the physical examination that we have, because we have judgments that AI doesn't have. But you're right; it makes us a lot better than with that amount of memory and dynamics that that AI has.
And that benefits the customer too, in that because AI is only going to get better, it makes you faster and more efficient, which means you don't have to keep increasing prices either, right? So it's a little better for the customer as far as even the price is concerned, because it's an assistant that you have that's very quick, and time's money in your business. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. That makes us be able to do, and we are a large volume practice, and so it does make us a lot more efficient. It's good. I mean, it's tremendous that we have that ability now, and as I say, it gets better and better.
What's your, having done this for 47 years, what would you say is your favorite part of veterinary medicine and how it's changed? Like, would you go back to 40 years ago, or do you like the advances? Do you like the new knowledge? Do you like where it's headed now?
I do embrace the technology and where we are. I appreciate the past and what it's taught me to be able to do, but I thoroughly enjoy working with my son in the technology and be able to do microsurgery, arthroscopy, and so many different aspects of it that we couldn't even think about doing then. I mean, colics have improved so much, and our success rates have improved so much, and it helps. That makes me feel good. I mean, I love saving the animals. I love the interaction with them, the psychology of that I've learned over the years. But I thoroughly enjoy working with my son and be able to do the newer things. We're going to put a screw in a stifle cyst, and or go into a joint arthroscopy we did yesterday, and be able to look at the micro damage that we can now repair and make it a lot better.
It's so exciting to hear you still so enthusiastic about this after doing it for so long. That's kind of cool. That's neat, and we don't always hear that, right? So
you're right. Every day is a new opportunity, and I enjoy it all just as much as I did back then, and I enjoy the people. And I think, especially, you asked me what I enjoyed about it. Probably one of the most beneficial things is affecting young people's lives and saving their horse, making the horse better, or at least affecting those people as a role model, and the kids then change. I mean, I know several people, I can tell you story after story about how they became veterinarians or got involved in the medical aspect or the horse industry even.
I want to ask you before we wrap up about one other thing, being a cancer survivor, because I saw this on your description too. You mentioned nuclear medicine earlier and pharmaceutical cancer treatments. I knew they were doing those in people. I didn't know they were doing them in horses.
Yes, we are. We have several radiopharmaceutical agents that we're investigating. One is an arthritic treatment that we are using. It has been used in dogs and cats, and that's one of the few small animals that we do. We do occasionally those, or a thyroid treatment in cats that we can give them a radiopharmaceutical and cure the cancer, basically. So it is coming forward. And the other thing of vaccines against cancer, I think those are really advancing rapidly. And so again, it gets back to that technology and how good we're getting with that.
We don't have time to get into what radiopharmaceutical cancer treatments are, but just Google that and you'll see. But I know some people, some friends of mine who have cancer that have had that treatment, and they're still here after many, many years. So they're getting better at that too. And that's another place where AI is coming in to help too.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And one of the last things I want to mention, too, is the reason why we're a primary sponsor for the Equine Affaire and Fantasia. And it's something that we're able to give back to the clients, making that a little bit more affordable for them. We've always supported the Fantasia, and we've been, since inception, we've been there as not only as a lecturer, demonstrator, but also as an exhibitor. And I get to see all the clients that we've seen before. We give away, last year we gave away $309,000 in discounts and benefits to the humane groups and all of the other rescue agents, and also, but most of that money goes back to the clients, where if they run out of money, we don't give up. And we can help out. We're not dictated a bureaucracy or a hierarchy or corporate owned. It's just myself and my son. We can decide which horses we can help out, which clients we can help out, and then we can go forth with that and help them out to be able to save that horse. So that's where the majority of that money goes to.
That's fantastic. And I love what you said. It's you and your son, and you guys get to decide, and you have that freedom to help and to give back. And we really appreciate you all sponsoring Fantasia. I think it's going to be a great event, and we appreciate your support of Equine Affaire over the years. It's just been a huge honor to have Myhre Equine Clinic right there with us all this time, and you guys are doing incredible work.
Thank you very much. I've enjoyed talking to you guys. It's a treat, and I look forward to the Equine Affaire this year.
Sentinel is the horse feed trusted by champion equestrians, veterinarians, and world-class breeders. They count on its expertly crafted extruded formulations to meet the specific nutritional needs of their horses, and you can too. Just visit feedsentinel.com/findmyfeed and answer a few questions about your horse, and you'll be guided to the feed that best fits their needs. With Sentinel's full line of 100% extruded feed, you'll find the perfect fit for your horse, no matter their age or activity level. Get started today at feedsentinel.com/findmyfeed. Well, up next, we have Mr. Vitor Silva, an international dressage master. He began learning about horses in his home country of Portugal. Today, he is the owner and founder of Sons of the Wind School of Equestrian Arts in Massachusetts and in Florida. We're privileged to have Mr. Silva as our dressage clinician at Equine Affaire this fall, but he's also bringing some of his Lusitanos to exhibit in the Breed Pavilion, and he'll be performing in Fantasia. So we just had to have Vitor on to chat all about it. Well, good morning, Vitor. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Where are you? You have 2 locations, so you're a world traveler, but where are you calling us from this morning?
And this morning I'm calling from Massachusetts, so we spend the summer up here typically.
Oh, yes. So it's cooler, and poor Glenn is in Florida where it's sweltering right now.
Yeah.
So he knows what you're escaping.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's on an air-conditioned office, so that's okay, right?
Yeah,
Blaine?
yeah. We
Yes.
You know how it is in Florida. You have a place down near Wellington. You go out in the morning, and then you're in the house by 9:00.
It's insane.
Yeah.
It's insane stuff.
So, Vitor, we are so excited that you are coming to Massachusetts this fall. And as Glenn said earlier, we are putting you to work. So tell us a little bit about what you're going to be doing with us at Equine Affaire in Mass this fall.
So something that's always has a great interest from the equine community in general is the working hand. So because for many different reasons, people are busy and they want to go into home and work their horse. Sometimes they don't have as much time to ride. In the winter it's cold and whatnot. What do I do with a horse? And then there is the whole other level of dressage. How can I teach half steps in working horses in hand or long lines? So that is one of the things that we're going to do. And of course, on the equine industry, there is waves of different individuals that come along and that sometimes they use, instead of harmony, they use brutality in order to do that. And I wanted to share in the experience, it's okay to work horses in hand. That is a proper way of working it. And that is fundamentally a beginning and an end. And what are we trying to do? Because when you see a professional being able to piaffe horses in hand or long lines and do a performances like we have, not necessarily you're going to go to the stable and you're going to do exactly that same thing in one day. There is a progression. There is time. So it's not instinctively. So training horses, it's not like putting things on a microwave. No, It is time. It takes time. There is an approach that you do it. Reward the horse for the response that you have, and then you build that every day. So that is something that we're going to do because it's always, people love that and have a great interest. Also, we put it up that a survey and what people like us to do, and that is the modern dressage and that is the classical dressage. So a lot of the classical dressage, they think this is just for old people. The modern dressage is for the young people. No, that is the classical dressage. It's something that's been for hundreds of years, and we just continue paving the way of all the great masters did. And so that is something that I wanted to share. And something that they wanted us to do, it's how classical dressage can enhance the movements for all disciplines. So that is something that we're going to work on it so that people can take the language. So the classical principles, it's a language. And the language, it's all built in exercises. And those exercises has a presence of the rider, a balance of the rider that you approach the proper way, with the proper age. As a result of that, the horse is starting to be willing to do those exercises. Again, it's a systematic way that you have to modify it for your horse temperament and movement, but the principles don't change. And if you do all of those movements properly, so you end up that you know what you're doing at the end of the day, that is presenting great results. Because every time that we ride a horse, the thing that we want to do, we want a horse forward, calm, and straight. And at the end of every session, if you do these movements, it's to enhance the straightness of your horse. And you at the end of the session, you know if the horse is straight or not. It's like a master, a carpenter, or a mason putting the level on that, and you see if the horse is straight. Something that I wanted to share with the people so they can take it home and for all the other disciplines as well. So if I want to jump on the middle of the jump, what do I do? The horse doesn't distinct the middle of the jump or the edge of the jump. If the rider rides the horse straight, as a result of that, you probably can find the middle of the jump. So that is things like that we're going to be working and sharing with the people so that they can see it right there and hopefully take it home and get the results.
I love that. And I love what you said about it's a little bit customizable. The principles don't change, but you can make dressage work for you and work in your discipline. I think that's so important for people to do that cross-disciplinary learning and to bring dressage into whatever it is that they're doing, because it's not just you put on the top hat and the shad belly and you go out and do dressage. You can do dressage at home. It's training, it's progression. Is that right?
Absolutely. Dressage is the mother of all disciplines, or should be. But obviously, as we all know, it becomes, because it's called an industry, and I have to have the fanciest horse, I have the tallest boots, I have to have the bling, and in order, then I'm a dressage rider. No, dressage riders is anyone that goes into the barn and they want to enhance the movements of the horse. That's a dressage. So now, if somebody's more ambitious and they want to compete and so forth, absolutely. But the fact is, that's what not dignifies dressage. What dignifies dressage, it's somebody that applies the principles. And I think as the most of the industry, at least I found that it's a lot of people middle age that's coming back into horses. They rode when they were younger. And then obviously they could go to school. They had to go into create work and raise families. All of a sudden, there is a little bit more time and more economic. They coming back into horses, and when they coming back into horses, they are faced something that didn't exist before, and they're looking for that next horse. They're looking for that next trainer. And now there is a safety issue. And dressage, that's what should be providing these horses, these schoolmasters that people can go to these stables and have a good experience, and good experience creates good results.
Absolutely. And do you find, so you are the founder of Sons of the Wind School of Equestrian Arts. You've got a location in Massachusetts and one in Florida. Are those the kinds of students that you end up teaching most, or what do you teach at your school and who do you teach it to?
So actually it's very interesting, because I brought the first Lusitano from South America into the States because I wanted to create a riding school. And obviously now there is a wave of this is the horses, and a lot of people come in here, they ride our horses like, I want to get one of those. The fact is, you want to get one of those, I mean, the horse is a horse. The fact is, somebody has to tailor it. So you make good suits out of good fabric, but somebody has to tailor it. Yeah. So that is, and the fact is, we spend so much time, as typically what I say is, I don't have a stable, I have a library of horses, because any subject matter that we want to teach, or each individual comes in, we can overcome their fears, their instabilities, their imbalance, or whatever the issues are. And mostly the people that should probably come in here, it's the trainers, because they need more help than a lot of the amateurs, because they're the ones who are going to be teaching these individuals. And that's the ones that needs to be super educated. And that is a beginning of a horse, that is a beginning of a rider. And they both have to come seamless, like a bridge, to meet. The horse has to meet the rider, and the rider has to meet at the same level. So that has to be a perfect balance. So in other words, going back to the questions, most of the people that should come in here, it's those trainers that need, but most of they come in here a lot of times in secrecy, in order to come in and improve those amateurs, because they seeking for us. They looking into places that can be educated, because in the United States it's amazing because people invest in education. So to answer your questions, the majority of those people that come in here, then we have the repeat business. That basically, that's why we're fortunate enough to have a waiting list for people to come in here, because they come back and they want to continue their education. Obviously, we cannot be in every corner of the country, but they come back. But that's those individuals that they want to create a good experience, have a good experience, to take it home to their horses and to their barn.
Right. I wanted to ask you about this. I know you're going to be bringing Lusitanos to Equine Affaire, and you'll also be performing in Fantasia. What is it about the Lusitano?
So the Lusitano, it's a horse that goes back in time, and that is why it's Sons of the Wind. Because the reason it's Sons of the Wind, Europe was divided pretty much in three states. There was Lipesia, Andalusia, and Lusitania. So when the Vikings and the Moors, and the Romans were invading the Iberian Peninsula behind the mountains, they encounter these smaller horses. These horsemen, they could outmaneuver them, and they were amazed. They says this is only possible by Sons of the Wind. So the Lusitano, it's a horse that through the time been improved. In the latest years, there were basically the breeders had to keep a horse for so-called bullfighting. When I'm saying this, I'm not promoting the sport, but they don't kill in Portugal, but nevertheless, they had to breed a horse that was courage and it had an amazing nobility and with athleticism that could move out of harm's way. So when this discipline of dressage became globalized, the Lusitano had the athleticism, had the nobility for the sport, and that is why it's created a wave of popularity as they have.
Fascinating. I've never heard it quite described that way, and I love the Sons of the Wind, that whole tie-in, and I love that it's the name of your school. It really is going back into history. That's amazing. How did you fall in love with these horses? Like, what was your first experience with the Lusitano?
Well, I'm Portuguese, so that is the breed of the horse that we all aim and to dream to have it. Not necessarily back then everybody can have a pure horse, like fortunately these days I have, but that was what my passion and that's what I knew. And as I was more open to other breeds, then I realized this breed, it's not the best, but it's one of the best. Because in any breed, my opinion is 3% of exceptional horses, 15% good horses, and the rest are horses. They all have their purpose, but to do what we wanted to do, that was the perfect horse, because the horse is fiery, is talented, and it's noble. So it's talented and fiery. So when you have those elements, you can teach anything. Versus you have a cold horse, you cannot teach it as much. You have to keep repeating. You have to keep asking. And sometimes they're not pleased with the job that they have. These horses here on the school, what all that they have, they are hot horses, but they are schooled properly. And why? Because then the riders, they have a quick response. So because they have a quick response, creates a quick result, versus horses that people have to squeeze with the leg, step over the leg, doing this way, doing the other way, then they don't have a clear experience. So basically they have horses that is like a car that has a desire to go. And that is what this breed brings into it. So when I was creating the school, which was back then, I didn't have the economic and the power to do what do we have these days, or even the exposure that we have. But I went to great lengths to have. So today, Sons of the Wind, we have about 150 horses altogether.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Do you don't move them all to Florida in the winter?
No.
I was going to say.
No. So we have horses at different stages. So in the beginning when I started, I used to buy a horse from here, there, whoever had a horse that I thought that was suitable. But in the meantime, I ended up spending more time fixing that horse for what I wanted to do than if I started with a clean slate. So as a result of that, I started to get mares. Now we have a breeding program. And then we have basically a stable that we have 30 horses starting. And then when they get starting, then when they come to the finished process, they all come to me. Then we start doing the finished process.
Well, you have to have the largest Lusitano farm in America.
So, but we don't keep them all here. So we probably have all the, let's see, like Grand Prix horses, just Grand Prix are competing. We have about 12 of them. We have about 8 stallions in here in our farm. So probably altogether we do. But we breed some horses in Brazil. We have a whole operation in there because of labor. And I have some horses in Portugal. So I send some horses there to campaign, to compete, and so that they create notoriety for the selling of semen and whatnot. So we focus on that, and that is basically, that's the only 2 countries pretty much that I work, because I still like to do this the old-fashioned way, network and friendship. A handshake still means something to me, and if I have a problem, I like to pick up the phone and says, "Hey, John, why?" So I still like to do that. I'm fortunate enough that people approach me every day with the different issues, different things, and then it creates a whole network, which makes it a lot easier because I'm busy enough. I don't have time to go all around, and because I still have a full-time here in the school.
Well, you're a busy man. And so we are especially excited that you're going to come to Fantasia and take some time, come to Equine Affaire and take some time to spend with us and bring some of your horses. And I was hoping to kind of finish up and ask you a little bit about your plans for Fantasia. What are you, without spoiling too much, what can we expect to see from you and Sons of the Wind?
So we're going to bring about 6 horses. 4 to 6 horses, that's the plan. And basically, we want to put a display with the classical dressage, the classical principles, and a display that 6 horses are doing to the highest level of dressage, all based on the classical training. 6 riders having fun in front of the crowd, and so that the crowd can go home and says, "Well, I'd love to do that. I wish that someday I could do that as well." So the last time we were there, we had the horse piaffing on a piano, which is, we all know how difficult it is when you're doing a Grand Prix on a center line, never mind going on top of a piano in front of however many people doing a performance.
Absolutely. It's going to be a spectacle, I think. It's going to be pretty magical. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show, and I am even more excited to see you and your horses this fall than I was when we started. So thank you so much.
Wonderful.
Well, before we wrap today, are tickets available for Massachusetts at this point?
They are. You can buy your tickets to Equine Affaire. That includes your single-day tickets or your 4-day passes. I highly recommend a 4-day pass at equineaffaire.com. You can also buy your tickets for Fantasia. And remember, there are only 3 performances of Fantasia, Thursday night, Friday night, and Saturday night during Equine Affaire. And so if you want to get a particular seat in the arena, I recommend you go ahead and buy them, yes, even this early. They've been on sale since July, but there are still plenty of good seats left, and you want to get a good seat for Fantasia because it is the best. And, of course, Fantasia is sponsored by Myhre Equine Clinic. Special thanks to Dr. Myhre for sponsoring us this year. We're so excited to have him on board. And, of course, Vitor is going to be in it, along with a lot of other great performers. So you don't want to miss that. And
does the website give you hotel recommendations and things like that for people coming in?
It sure does. Okay. Yes, we have host hotels. You can go ahead and book those. I think they have room blocks that probably expire towards the end of October. But go ahead and hop on there. Lori's got a whole layout for you of host hotels with how far they are from the venue, how much they are per night, what kind of amenities they have. So if you need,
I used that when I booked Ohio this time. I used that on the website because it was real nice. It was well done.
Absolutely. And I think people keep forgetting it's there. We've had some comments like, well, you used to do host hotels. We still do. Every year, twice a year. It's on the website.
Yep, very good. Well, you can check out all the details about everything at equineaffaire.com. And of course, the Equine Affaire does have its own RSS feed, so if you want to catch all the past episodes of Equine Affaire and it not be all lumped in with the other Horses in the Morning shows, just search for Equine Affaire on your podcast player and it'll pop up and you'll get all the past episodes. And there's a bunch of them at this point. So you can check that out today. And of course, you can follow Horses in the Morning on Facebook. Just search for Horses in the Morning. And we are here. As a matter of fact, we'll be back tomorrow. Jamie and I will be back with some really bad ads and another episode for you. And Allison is here the third Thursday of every month. Allison, thanks for putting this together today. It was a lot of fun.
Thank you. It was a
We
great
had some very
episode.
smart guests today. I didn't feel
Yes.
I felt less smart today with those two on. So it's like, wow, these people have real jobs. And here we are doing this, Allison. So
Yeah, we got the good life, and we get to talk to them about their life.
That's right.
So,
That's right.
all the fun, none of the stress.
when we used to do shows, when I had the acting company, people used to say, well, what's it like to just be an entertainer? I said, I have the best job in the world. I just make people laugh. It's what we do, If you can make them laugh, think, or cry, you had a good day. So hopefully we did that for somebody today.
Absolutely. And if not today, then maybe at Equine Affaire. We'll see you at Equine Affaire.